This is the Kaylie and Carol show, and we are psychic mediums. And today we're talking about talking to those of you who feel like you're not receiving the signs from your loved ones or want to have more of a connection to your own loved ones on the other side. And
really just like understanding how everything in this life is so connected, even to our relationship with our loved ones on the other side and the signs that we receive from them. Because there has been a lot of things coming up for us within our clients and the people we've been talking to, which is always where we find our inspiration for the podcast. It's always what's been coming up for everyone. And so I just wanted to talk about it. I had a client a little bit ago who it was really interesting how Spirit brought this through to me, because I felt like I learned something through this message from my client as well.
I feel like that happens every session, but
which is always really beautiful. But essentially what was happening was my clients had both parents on the other side, and she had a good relationship with one and a bad relationship with the other. And the one that she didn't have the best relationship with on the other side, when I was tuning into it, I actually believe this was a Reiki session, because I ended up going a little deeper into like inner child healing. But she said she always receives messages from her parent that she had a good relationship with, but the one that she didn't, she said she doesn't feel them, she doesn't get signs, like none of that. And when I was trying to tune into that, we were able to uncover this belief from childhood that she had connected to this parent that, well, this parent never shows up for her anyways, or this parent never has, so why would they now? And beliefs connected to that, not feeling supported by this parent. So of course, now that this parent has crossed over, she wants to know that, you know, they're with her and they're watching over her, and they are. They always are, but
because it was able to come through in your session.
Yes.
That parent came through.
Yes.
So that's the thing, and that's the topic today, is we want to talk about how you can get your own signs and your own connection. And it's possible coming through a medium, which just shows there's something else there, like that we could look at and expand and grow with. So that's what we basically love teaching people.
Which is really beautiful, because like you said, the ability is there because they are with us, but we just have to figure out why aren't we able to do it on our own. And that's where, through these beliefs of realizing that she has that resistance already to this parent, her loved one is here watching over her, but it's her own pain and resistance and belief that are they going to show up? They haven't before. Why would they show up now? And all of these other things that she hasn't fully let herself work through or feel, and kind of just jumped over like, well, they're on the other side, so they better show up for me, or whatever it is. But she wasn't able to see before that how some of it could still be her own stuff that was blocking that, which happens to all of us. Like even now, there comes time where we don't feel our loved ones for certain periods of time, and maybe it is because there's other things coming up surrounding their passing that we need to go back into.
Absolutely. And I think that's why I think it's so beautiful, our line of work, and I believe really any line of work out there, is when you have an experience attached to it, you can teach from a more deeper, authentic place. You know, like I said, any line of work, you know, a plumber, if their bathroom, overflows and whatever's going on, that's their line of work. But if they never had that experience before, now when they go out, you know what I'm saying? So it literally could be any line of work. But for me, I have a personal experience like that, and I love that. It worked. It unfolded the way it did. I didn't know at the time, but so my father, he was a working man, and I don't know. The dynamics were, I didn't go to my father for like advice, or I didn't have like this open connection relationship with him, and partly was me. Absolutely.
I just want to point something out, because I feel like people will be able to resonate this, but I just think it's so funny how, like, when you first started talking about your father, the first thing you wanted to say was he was a working
Oh,
man. There
yeah.
was this level of like protection, which is also something that came up.
Yes.
Like when we don't have when it comes to our relationship with someone else, especially if they're on the other side, we want to try to justify their behavior because they did love us, but it's like we have to also understand the polarity. Like he did love you. He was a working man. He did what he could, but there were also ways where he wasn't able to fill your needs as a father.
Yes.
Like, and so I feel like it's so important, like when we talk about this, it's not that you're blaming this loved one, it's that there's still parts of you that need to be validated relative to your relationship, which is part of the blockage or the resistance to feeling them or healing that relationship.
And I think it goes hand in hand with I'm someone who always self-reflects. So I also think like, well, I was shy or I could have approached him, but again, the timeline, you got to look at growing up in everything that all the experiences within the household and stuff. But bottom line is I didn't feel comfortable having a voice or thinking that I could speak to my father or have a quote normal conversation but when he was on his deathbed, he was at home for several weeks. I would talk to him all the time. He was in not a coma, but he had a brain bleed, so signs of dementia and stuff like that in this small period of time. But I knew he could hear me, and I knew, I would hold his hand. And anyway, I was very vulnerable and open, and I shared my deepest challenges that have been my challenges my whole life with him. And it was weird on one aspect. It felt so good because I was able to do it because I knew spiritually now with that background, I knew we were working through stuff and both of us, and I could cry. I just got chills because it was so beautiful. So after that, the specific area I asked him to help me with, to this day, it's cars. He has so many signs that, he's from Ireland, so the Irish flag, anything Irish, and many other things, pad on the license plate. So I would be in this thought or situation and a car would literally cut me off. And so anyways, my experience is I am closer to my father now than I have that need is filled. And I do receive signs from him all the time now. And I do know he did the best he can. So I'm able to look at that aspect too of it. But the part that, like you said, I kind of went over in the beginning is what I'm still kind of working with. That is not something that's within me. And I think that takes time, and it's layered. Healing is layered. So,
but once you start it, that's why I say though, so much of our healing journey just starts with awareness. Once you have the awareness of an aspect or of a relationship and the truth of a relationship, the polarity of a relationship, how both things can exist, the energy already starts to move differently, where now you can start to receive signs from your loved ones, even if you didn't feel the emotion yet or go deeper into it. It's having an awareness of something and just being honest and vulnerable with yourself about how I know this is they did the best they could, but this is also how I felt at the same time, and validating both and knowing that there's no blame
and being able to sit again, we have done this most of our lives now or the last 15, 16 years. So also allowing time to sit with that, because they do hear you. They are right here next to you. So you could talk to them as if they were here. You could sit with their picture. You could sit with, and really speak the things that you need. A lot of people say journaling, and that's amazing, but you also could just talk to them.
That actually just came in with my other client, because there was some resistance with her father on the other side, and she even said she felt like there was a hairball or something in her throat, she just needed to let it out. And writing a letter to her father on the other side came in. I said, you don't have to, it's only what you feel resonated to, but if you ever feel the motivation or think, oh, maybe I should, then listen to that. But,
and I think you should. I always tell people, even how crazy this stuff sounds, because I assume it could sound weird to someone. Just sit and, have a space and talk to your loved one. But I always tell people, just play with it. What do you have to, just try it? Because what happens then is it opens a door. And that door, just being curious about it, it opens a door, and then spirit works with that energy. And then they bring you the sign, or it shows up, and you're like, okay, I feel better today, or whatever it is. So I say play with it. That's the only way. We can speak and share these stories, but unless we take the initiative to play with it and do it and come up with our own story conclusion surrounding it.
And that's where, like, on the other end of the spectrum with that, like, some people can come to the table like, this person messed up a lot while they were here. They did this to me. So if they're with me, they need to prove it, or they need to, show me or whatever, without realizing, like, that in itself, like we said, can cause some resistance to them showing up for you. But it all goes back to, like, your own pain that you hold on to it. But if you can work through that and step into, like, that curiosity and have fun with it, I really do believe that having fun with it, or just being curious, is a big part in allowing the energy to flow. Once you can let yourself get past some of those harder emotions or feelings connected to any loved ones on the other side. But doing that, is really what allows you to step into receiving, for sure.
And I also think, because my mom came from a large family, and she didn't share a lot of stuff, and she shared a lot with me, but there was some stuff, she would actively say, there's no reason for you to know. And I was like, no, I want to know everything. Yeah. And I knew more as the years went on, but she never wanted to speak of anyone who was no longer here, or people that are here. That's their business. That's gone. That's over with. And it was huge for her. And I could come up with a lot of my own answers through our conversations. But again, going back to when we first started this, and you said how I had to start off saying, like, protecting him. But so speaking on, I know you talk about this a lot, that it doesn't mean we're calling them out. It doesn't mean, this is my experience, and my siblings will have a different experience. So to honor your experience, you do have to go to those places where someone maybe is like, they weren't there, or something like that for me in that time. And so I think it's not making them be this monster or bad person. We all have, actually, this one spirit came to me. It was when I was meditating. I'm trying to be respectful of the people, so I'll just speed up. So I was meditation for myself, and all of a sudden this guy came to me, and I didn't like him in the human form. I saw how he, I just wasn't crazy about how he treated someone, and I only saw it a couple times or whatever, but I made up my conclusion, like, So he comes to me, and I channeled 4 pages of stuff. He just kept talking and talking. And I was like, why are you coming to me? Like, I didn't like you. I'm sorry. I mean, obviously, you're on the other side. I was like, but I didn't like you. Like, what would make you choose me? But what he taught me was so valuable. Yeah. And I got it on license plate, the word aspect. But he said, you only saw one aspect of me. You saw me in this area of my life, but I was a good father, a good son. Like, he brought all these other areas to my awareness. And, he has friends that love him, that he would do anything for. But I didn't see any of that. I saw one thing that was connected to me and how I felt was wrong or whatever. But anyway, so I was just summing up that there's so many aspects of ourselves. And that's why
so many people don't see even our loved ones, or understand fully, because of our own trauma, or because of the ways we protect ourselves. in that way. That's why I feel like the opposite to get through that judgment is stepping into understanding and trying to understand that person, which brings us back to, if there is someone on the other side that you feel like did you wrong or treated you a certain way, or you still are left feeling unvalidated by them, it's not to negate how you feel, because it's so important to validate those emotions. But at the same time, when you're in the right space, letting yourself step into trying to understand them and where they were, and understanding that people really can only meet you as deep as they have met themselves. Like, I love that so much, because it's so true. And when you can understand that from someone who has caused you pain, like, all I ever think about is how much pain could they have been in. Now, that doesn't make it right the way that they treated me, but it helps me move through it easier, because I can validate myself and say, no, that wasn't right. But I can also see, it is really sad that they weren't able to work through their things, or that's how they felt the need to take it out or work through it or whatever it is. But the understanding, I feel like trying to understand someone helps get us out of our own pain once we've validated it, and step out of the judgment with this person, which really, I believe, promotes a lot of healing.
Like that 5 agreements, like, don't take it
I never read that, but
really?
But people talk about it all the time. Yeah.
There's just 5 principles, and one is don't take it personal.
Yeah.
And after I read the book, and after, I do connect to that belief. Where I get tripped up is validating myself.
Yeah.
Because I can see why people do what they do. I can understand, I could have compassion, how they could only meet me there. But then I'm like, okay, but I'm here telling you more stuff. So listen to this, or expand your awareness on this, but it doesn't work like that. And then that's where I get caught. What I'm saying, because maybe people are like this,
for sure,
is sometimes you could get caught in the understanding part too much and stay in a situation for so long because you understand them so much, when actually you're being called to understand yourself and validate yourself. But that's a whole nother thing. And that's what you have helped me with a lot come back to, and that's a process to learn, because I don't think we as a whole do that a lot. I don't think we validate ourselves a lot. We validate the role we're in. Yeah. We validate, what we have to do, all these things. And again, emotions, coming back to, how do you feel? How do you feel in this situation, or...
And that has come up a lot in sessions where, like, I'll bring something through from a loved one, or I'll say, like, was your mom like this to you, or can you resonate with that? And they'll say no, but right after they say no, they, like, it's because it's a form, they say something like, my mom did the best she could. She always cooked for us. There was always food on the table. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I wasn't talking about if you had food on the table. I was talking about how she made you feel, like, or something like that. But it's like, so they'll say it, and then they'll initially, try to protect them or justify it. And that's where it's like, you have to understand that both things can exist at the same time. We're not doing this. Your mom is the one bringing this through to me to tell you she sees it. Like, she knows you don't blame her. She knows you love her. She knows you see all of the good things that she did, but she also wants to take a moment to acknowledge how she made you feel. Yeah. Like that, like you were saying, we have to validate ourselves. We can't just jump to, well, I understand why this person did that, because then that still leaves us feeling unfulfilled or invalidated, and it doesn't help us when we're the ones that are still here living this life. Like, our loved ones want to come through with those things to help us move forward, because when they can validate us in certain areas, like if they didn't show up for you or support you, and you can heal that with your loved one on the other side, you might start to notice in your now life, you're going to start to feel more supported by the people around you. Or if there is someone that's not supporting you, the universe will kind of let them, get out of your life and bring in more people who are supporting you, because you've worked through that belief of not being supported, not feeling supported. No one ever shows up for me. I do everything on my own. But when you can see where that stems from and work through that, especially if it's with a loved one on the other side, that's what allows, like, that's why these things are so important to acknowledge and work through, because it does change the relationships or the situations that we go through in this life, like right now. Whereas I feel like sometimes it's hard for people to see that connection. I think I started this by showing how everything is connected, but I feel like it's so true. We don't do this just because, you know, my mom's on the other side and we didn't have a good relationship. It's because there's things that can help you now, which is the biggest thing that I have learned to recognize.
And I was going to say, as far as my father, my connection to my father, like, when I shared all these vulnerable days with him and thoughts with him, I wasn't expecting him to show up differently.
Yeah.
That's where, like I said, now I have that experience.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting, like, I always knew I already, you know, was connecting with my brothers on the other side and other people's loved ones, but I didn't think a relationship can shift and change, but when both people are open to it, it happens. And I recently had a client also who her loved one came in and she was so surprised because that's not how she was here. And I'm like, I'm just the same thing like what you said. I'm just sharing like what, and validations came through. So it was her beyond a doubt. And then the cute thing was she received a meme on Facebook, like, and it was her loved one that, you know, those memes that tell you your future, different things like that. But it was her loved one speaking to her almost word for word what came through in our session. So it was so cool and so good for her. Well, I already experienced it. That's why I was like, this is amazing.
And so people could probably think, because you said, like, if both people are open and willing, and I can already feel people would be like, oh, well, they wouldn't be. That's not how they would have been.
Exactly.
But when we cross over, we've said this so many times, our loved ones are within the energy of oneness and connection, which allows them to see things from so many different perspectives and understand things so deeper that they are in that state of openness.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't now, they were, when you cross over, you do the work you weren't able to do while you were here. So if someone was closed off or stubborn or stuck in their ways, on the other side, they might come through to let us know that. I've had someone let me know they were a bit stubborn when they were here or things like that. But it doesn't mean that's how they are now, which I feel like is why sometimes the time to do the healing, we always want to do it when they're still here. But if it's not able to happen, it doesn't mean that it can't ever happen.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship when you are a more fulfilling relationship with them, even though you didn't have it here. And it was beautiful to see. Like I said, I'm just like, just like my dad. Like that client, I'm like, this is so good for her, for, you know, her whole family. And I just thought it was really cool.
So just going back to, like, if you feel like you aren't receiving these signs from your loved ones or you're not feeling them, just, like, take some time to figure out or tune into why that could be or how maybe some of your energy or resistance is contributing to it, which is always hard. Like, we all, there's a teacher that I watched a video and it's like, we all have this belief that we need to be seen as good. And so we never want to see how something could be our fault, or some people have a hard time, you know, seeing that. But when you can be that honest and vulnerable with yourself about, you know, your belief systems or how you could be blocking something or a feeling or a message or a sign from coming through, it's not to blame yourself again. Like, it's not saying it's your fault. It's stepping into understanding, like, there's part of you that's protecting yourself within this relationship, and that's okay. That's so understandable because of your experience with that person. But once you can let yourself work through that, like, right away, like you said, it's layers. So you don't have to be fully healed and love this person and have the best relationship before you can start to feel them again. But it's starting with that awareness or that want or that having that openness to work through it. Like, it already shifts the energy to let them start to come through for you. It's almost like you just got to get past that first wall of validating it to yourself, like your reality with this person. And then they can start to come through for sure.
And I think having your own personal practice, like talk to your loved ones, talk to universe, talk to God, talk to where you are now and what you believe, and put it out there. And then what happens are things just start showing up. So you go for a session, a Reiki session, or a reading, or even to the grocery store, you have that openness. Like you already had that solid connection, your own practice of what you want to show up, and or however it is. Because I'm thinking, like, what are some ways they can be open to it? Because some people could be like, well, where would I start? I don't even know what trauma I'm holding. I don't even know what emotions I'm holding. A lot of people are like, but it's a surrendering, it's a letting go, and speak what you speak in the morning, and then like allow it to come to you in a way. So,
and I feel like there can always be more. Like you said, there's always layers. Where maybe not always, but like I said in the last episode, like the point of this life isn't to be fixed. So if you're here right now, like there's something else that you can work on and go through. It's just what our souls are meant to do on earth. And so even if you had a good relationship with somebody, it doesn't mean that they didn't make you feel a certain way sometimes, and it's just stepping into that curiosity is what brings the most like healing. I really do think.
Yeah, and I think as a mother, so a lot of moms feel responsible, or they beat themselves up for certain things. And in growing up with children who have grown up with this and speaking emotions and having a voice to their own spiritual journey, they have taught me so much. But I was just thinking, like, sometimes we are I don't want to say bad guy, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes we can see that within ourselves where, say I wasn't there for you in a certain way. And at first it was very hurtful, I think, if I would hear different things or through our discussions.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could have been like, oh my God, and beat myself up more over it, instead of understanding even myself and knowing my intention and, everything. Like we always say, nobody's perfect. We're all human. We're all learning. We're all trying to do the best we can. And so what I was getting at is like not trying to blame but to recognize that sometimes, that's like, I don't know, like I did it, or that's something that happened.
Yeah, like I was saying with the one teacher, like we all want to see ourselves as good, and so the second we hear something where we were the bad guy in someone's story, like it obviously it's going to do something to us, because that, I guarantee that it was none of our intentions ever. And that's where the person coming to you, if it's in a good energy and state of mind, like they're not trying to blame you, they're just looking to be validated. So if you can get out of your ego and your head and your own stuff and the blame, and just listen to the person in front of you that's coming to you with this and validate them, like they're not trying to blame you either. They don't think you're a bad person, but like I said in the last episode, we're all unconscious sometimes in certain areas of our life. Are
you talking periods. Like if a spirit came through that they didn't want to talk to? Is that what you're referring to?
Either a spirit or someone still here. Just like here. Any type of relationship. I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, because I was picturing that, because I know we've all had a lot of those experiences where they're like, I don't want to talk to him. No. Yeah. And I always wonder, because we ask spirit all the time, like, well, why does that happen? Why are they coming through? This person clearly refuses. And I feel like now maybe the person who has their power, and no, I don't want to talk to that person. They hurt me. They were whatever it was. Honoring that in that moment, maybe that's just invitation to go deeper into that.
Yeah.
Because not that you never want to talk to that person, and your loved one will have another time to express their regret or help the way they want to help now and repair. But it's just like a little invitation for you to see like, oh, wow, I don't want to talk to that person.
Well, that's what
and
I
see
mean.
what's in there.
Yeah, it's the awareness. Like sometimes all you need is the awareness, because
Yes.
she might not receive it right now, but maybe a month from now she's going to think back or remember this session and think about this person again, and things are going to come up and she's going to be able to shift
a little more.
Yeah.
And it happens like that. So it's okay that they say that.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to them. The way I look at it now is it's just where they're at and what things, there's opportunity for healing to be happening and to come up and work with before you get to that. You know, it's the journey of it, but yeah.
So it doesn't have to be all like hard, heavy emotions. Like Carol said, just let yourself step into understanding and curiosity about what's left to uncover or heal relative to a loved one on the other side or someone that's even still here. But anything, just getting in tune with your emotions. Relative to your loved ones on the other side, it really will help you build and create a different relationship with them if that's what you're wanting. You may not want it in this lifetime, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, honor that. We're not telling you have to fix every bad relationship. Like, the ones that are meant to be fixed will be fixed, and you'll know when it comes or when it feels right to you. And our only thing is, like, just listen to that. Listen to, if you're watching this and the whole time you were thinking about a certain loved one, like, let yourself go into that. Let yourself validate yourself and know that when you're thinking about them, they're right there next to you, trying to validate you too. And then be open to receiving the signs from them, because they could come through to validate everything, your own experiences with them. So, all right. So that was a fun one. I love talking. It's hard. It's always a harder conversation because it is so complex. Like there's the, like, we're not blaming, we're not judging, but it's the duality. Like, we just have to see that both realities exist. And if you can do that, let go of the blame, the judgment, step into the openness, the curiosity, that's what promotes the healing and the moving forward with our loved ones on the other side, or even with people still here.
Here.
So